You just carried 30 pounds of supplies up 5 flights of stairs. Your legs are burning. You're drenched in sweat. And when you get back to your work area, the one thing you need to do your job, your ladder, is gone, stolen, by a coworker who walked right past a pile of perfectly good ladders to take yours. And when you confront him, he shrugs, like you don't matter, like your time, your effort, your basic human respect means absolutely nothing. That's when I decided to teach him a lesson he'd never forget. If you've ever been dismissed, disrespected, or treated like you're invisible just because of who you are, this story is going to hit different. I'm talking about the kind of revenge that's so perfectly calculated, so beautifully executed, that it'll make you want to stand up and cheer. So do me a favor, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and buckle up. Because what I did to this guy's tool bag, chef's kiss, pure poetry. Let me paint you a picture of my world. I'm a woman working in construction, not office construction, not design. I'm talking about wood, framing apartment complexes. The kind of work where you're swinging hammers, hauling lumber, and climbing scaffolding in the dead of summer heat or freezing winter mornings. It's brutal, physical, relentless work. And 99% of the time, I'm the only woman on the entire job site. Now, don't get me wrong. I love what I do. There's something deeply satisfying about building something with your own 2 hands, about seeing bare wooden bones transform into someone's future home. But here's the thing they don't tell you when you're a woman breaking into a male-dominated field. Every single day is a psychological chess game. Every interaction with my male colleagues requires a calculation. If someone disrespects me and I stay quiet, I'm weak, I'm an easy target. But if I lose my cool, if I snap back the way any man on that site would, I'm suddenly the bitch. I'm emotional. Can't take a joke. I'm the problem, not the guy who created the problem in the first place. It's exhausting. It's like walking a tightrope where one wobble in either direction means you fall. And everyone's watching, waiting to see if you'll slip. So this particular day started like any other. We were working our way up through an apartment complex, floor by floor. When you're wood framing, you work in one direction, complete a floor, and then move up. It's systematic. It's efficient. But it also means equipment gets left behind, ladders, tools, materials scattered across levels like breadcrumbs. I'd gotten into the habit of collecting the ladders that got abandoned on lower floors, not because I'm some neat freak or trying to be teacher's pet, but because those ladders are expensive, and losing one means the whole crew wastes time hunting for replacements. So I'd gather them up, organize them by size, stack them neatly where everyone could see them. It took me maybe 10 extra minutes, and it made everyone's life easier. On this day, I'd done exactly that, collected the ladders. Stacked them beautifully on one side of the floor we were working on. Then I grabbed my 6-foot ladder and my nail gun and got to work. I was making good progress, falling into that rhythm where your body just knows what to do, when I realized I was running low on nails. No problem. Quick trip down to the Connex. That's the big storage container where we keep supplies. 5 flights of stairs down. Load up 3 10-pound boxes of nails. 5 flights back up. My shoulders were screaming. My thighs were burning. Those stairs are no joke when you're carrying weight. But I'm tough. I've done this 1,000 times. I pushed through the burn, hauled those boxes back up to the 5th floor, rounded the corner to my work area, and my ladder was gone. I stood there for a moment, boxes of nails in my aching arms, staring at the empty space where my ladder had been. My first thought was confusion. Then I heard it, the familiar sound of someone working. I turned and saw him. One of my coworkers, standing on my ladder. And why ladder? The one I'd been using. The one that had been sitting right there in my work area, and the pile of perfectly good ladders I'd organized. Literally on the other side of the room. Maybe 30 feet away. In plain sight, I felt that hot flush creep up my neck. You know the one. That physical sensation when disrespect hits you like a slap. But I kept my voice level. Professional. Because that's what I have to do. Hey! I called out. That's my ladder. Why didn't you just take one from the pile? He didn't even stop working. Just glanced down at me, shrugged, and said, why can't you just do the same? Those words, that casual dismissal, that complete and utter lack of respect. Something in my chest went cold. Because here's what he was really saying: your time doesn't matter. Your effort doesn't matter. The fact that you just climbed 10 flights of stairs carrying 60 pounds doesn't matter. You don't matter. And here's the thing that made my blood boil: if the situation had been reversed, if I had walked across that room, past a pile of available ladders, and stolen his ladder while he was gone, I would have gotten destroyed, absolutely torn apart. The guys would have gathered around. I would have been lectured about respect, about job site etiquette, about being a team player, and I would have had to take it, smile, apologize, because that's the game. But him, he gets to shrug. He gets to inconvenience me, disrespect me, and face zero consequences. The unfairness of it sat in my stomach like a stone. I grabbed a ladder from the pile. I went back to work. I didn't yell. I didn't make a scene. But inside I was calculating. I thought about all the times I'd swallowed my anger. All the times I'd been the bigger person. All the times I'd let things slide because making waves as the only woman on site felt too risky, too costly. And I thought, not this time. This time, there are consequences. But I couldn't confront him directly. I couldn't make it a big thing. Because that's not how you survive in this world. You have to be smart. You have to be strategic. You have to make your point in a way that can't be used against you. So I waited. I watched. And when break time came, when everyone scattered to their cars or the break area to grab lunch and decompress, I made my move. I'd already scoped out his tool bag earlier. We call them pouches, and they're basically heavy, duty belts that go around your waist with pockets for all your tools. Every construction worker has one. It's your lifeline, your hammers, your tape measure, your pencils, your utility knife. Everything you need lives in that pouch. While everyone was on break, I hid in the poured-up potty. Waited until I was sure the coast was clear. Then I emerged like a woman on a mission. I found his tool pouch exactly where he'd left it. And I got to work. Using my nail gun and the nails, I just hauled up 5 flights of stairs. Poetic justice. Really, I nailed that pouch to the wooden floor. But I didn't just use a few nails. Oh no, I used different sizes: 4-inch nails, 6-inch nails, 8-inch nails. I drove them through the existing holes in the belt, the ones already there for attaching the buckle. I used the metal ringlets where hammers hang. I didn't damage his property. Didn't puncture anything. Just secured it so thoroughly that it might as well have been welded. Then, for good measure, I grabbed some lag screws. Those big, thick, aggressive screws with coarse threads that bite into wood like teeth. I drove those through too. And then, the PICDRA assistance, I bent the tips over, crimped them. Because here's the thing about bent nails and screws: you can't just yank them out. You have to unscrew every single one. Methodically, painstakingly, I stood back and admired my work. His tool pouch, the thing he needed to do his job, was now permanently attached to the floor, and it would take him at least 15, maybe 20 minutes to free it. Every screw he'd have to back out. Every bent nail he'd have to straighten and remove. All that time, all that frustration, all that inconvenience, just like he'd done to me, except mine was worse. Because mine had a point. I slipped away before anyone came back. Went back to my area, picked up my tools, and waited. When break ended and everyone started filtering back, I kept my head down, kept working. But I was listening. Oh, I was definitely listening. I heard some murmuring from his direction, some confused shuffling, maybe a muttered curse or two. But here's the beautiful thing: he never said a word. Not to me, not to anyone. He just quietly freed his pouch, screw by screw, nail by nail, and got back to work. And none of our 12 coworkers said anything either. Which tells me one of two things: either nobody saw it happen and he was too embarrassed to make a fuss, or people did see it and thought it was hilarious. Either way, the message was sent. The message was received. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, isn't that a bit much? It was just a ladder? And to that I say, it's never just a ladder. When you're constantly fighting to be taken seriously, when you're constantly proving that you belong, when you're constantly navigating a world that wasn't built for you, every small disrespect becomes a referendum on your worth. Every time someone dismisses you, they're saying you're less than. And if you don't stand up for yourself, eventually you start to believe it. This wasn't about revenge. Not really. It was about respect. It was about drawing a line. It was about saying I matter. My time matters. And you don't get to treat me like I'm invisible. And honestly, job site pranks are part of the culture. I've seen guys nail a coworker's cart full of 50 pounds of tools 6 feet up a wall. I've seen someone nail a chair to the ceiling. I've watched our foremen intercept the electrician's delivery and use a crane to put it on the roof because they were being difficult. I've seen new apprentices sent to find the non-existent board stretcher. This is how we communicate. This is how we bond. And yeah, sometimes it's how we enforce boundaries. Did I damage his property? No. I used existing holes, existing hardware. It just took him a few extra minutes to get his stuff loose. Like hanging your keys on a hook and someone ties the keyring to the hook. Annoying? Yes. Destructive? No. But memorable? Absolutely. Here's what I learned: sometimes you can't win by playing fair. Sometimes the system isn't set up for you to succeed by following all the unwritten rules. Sometimes you have to get creative. You have to make your own justice. And you know what? I never had a problem with that guy again. In fact, I never had a problem with anyone on that crew again, because they learned something important that day. Just because I won't yell doesn't mean I won't act. Just because I'm careful about how I respond doesn't mean there won't be consequences. Respect isn't given, it's earned. And sometimes, it's nailed to the floor until people get the message. So if this story gave you that warm, fuzzy feeling of perfect justice served cold, do me a solid, smash that like button. Seriously, hammer it like I hammered those lag screws. Subscribe if you want more stories about people who stood up for themselves in the most creative, satisfying ways possible. And drop a comment below. What's the most ingenious revenge you've ever witnessed or pulled off yourself? I want to hear your stories. The pettier the better. Until next time, remember, don't mess with someone who knows how to use a nail gun. Trust me on that one.